it has to be said that the driving in this race has been remarkably good, bearing in mind the conditions are so absolutely awful. They really have hung on very, very well there.
Yeah, we don't know what caused Mike Donovan's accident, of course. He may have hit a puddle on the
I think it was something like that, or a white line or something. You never know.
And again, Robin Donovan, apologies, as we said earlier, for misnaming you. We know you're a great driver, and you'd never do anything like that. Mike Donovan, also a very, very talented driver. So it's just one of those things that happens.
It's interesting looking at these cars. When you think these cars were from the early and mid 1980s and late 80s, they really have borne up extremely well over the years.
So the 12 cars parked up behind the barriers. The Iseki car, this is, as Chris pointed out earlier, is on the grass, and they got that car behind the barriers. Now, it's still shown as fourth at the moment on our timing screens. That'll change in a moment. Yeah, he's plunging down the order. So the race pace of Bob Berridge, 4 minutes 38 seconds. That compares,
which is not bad in the wet.
Well,
let's face it.
It compares with what the best time we saw from the Audis this morning in the warm-up of 4 minutes 3. So it's only 30 seconds.
30 seconds. Yes.
Well,
in 20 years, you know. I mean, it's not really.
And you could say that the conditions in the warm-up were considerably better than they are at the moment.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is for sure going to be the penultimate lap of this race, or demonstration race, I would call it now. But look, it's not raining here. There's no rain on the puddles, but the water's streaming down the windows of our commentary box.
In comes number 17, Porsche, incidentally, if you missed him. That's the Belgian car, so that's out of the way.
Christoph Jansenburg.
We've just seen him go by.
That was the Jägermeister car.
Yeah, the Jägermeister car.
Yes, that was one of the last 962s that Porsche built.
And a spin for Derek Bell. Mr. Bell, what are you doing?
Absolutely.
I was once with Derek Bell when he spun a BMW at Donington Park, so we won't go into that.
I mean, look at the flat profile of that rear wing on this car. This is, as you say, it's a Le Mans car, and very, very little wing on that. I guess Derek didn't have a lot of rear end grip there going up into Dunlop. Here it goes again. No, he'd already spun it, hadn't he? So, oh well. Shows he's trying, Chris.
Yes, and there you see his iconic helmet in the car there, and he's enjoying himself.
Yeah, and he flicked it round, didn't he, through 180 degrees, probably saying an extremely rude word, which we mustn't repeat.
I was going to say, another
there's another one.
Yeah, this is the 20 car of Bergland.
Yep, Klaus Bergland.
Klaus Bergland, that's
with the Spice, no Spice there.
That was one of the French run Spices, Chris.
Yes, I think there are 8 Spices in this race. They've really done very well. They've aged well. Yeah. But the one thing we are rather missing in this race, unfortunately, is any competitive Jaguars.
Yes, it is rather sad. We saw the one car, the XJR5, and there was supposed to be one of the V6s around too, but that didn't turn up either.
Oh dear. Peter Garrard then stops the Momo Nissan. That's the American one, built by Dev Dvorsky's Nissan Performance Technology in California. Here's the other car that was built in Britain, and still being given a hard time there, Neville, by Eric Rickenbacker.
Yes.
Quite fittingly, Eric is a Swiss driver in a Swiss car.
Yeah, that's come up extremely well, that car.
Look, he's hanging on to that Nissan, isn't he? Nissan's back up to speed, by the way.
Yes, you can see immediately comes on song, he pulls away.
Yeah.
Very, very powerful car.
Just dried out a bit.
Yeah. So the clock is ticking away. 2.5 minutes left of this race. I guess as Bob Berridge crosses the line, that'll be the start of his last lap.
Into his last lap, I'd say.
Yeah, this is the same place Derek Bell just lost
it. If you can. No, I don't think you're going to.
Derek, of course, spun to the outside of this curb, and here he is.
Spice spinning
on the inside,
Bergland Spice.
And here's
Gordon Spice was primarily a saloon car driver, although he did have a single-seater career, and then suddenly, sort of almost out of the blue, changed from saloon cars to the Spice as a sports car, and had an immense amount of success.
Yeah, Group C C2 could have been invented for Gordon.
Yeah, it really
he just took to it like a duck to water. Yeah.
But it was his company, Spice Engineering, produced a lot of cars, both for Group C and for the American IMSA series, and they were the backbone of the series. They, with Porsche, were the backbone of the series, and
very successful in America.
And in fact, successful enough to attract the attention of Pontiac, who then got him to start naming the cars Fieros for a while, didn't they?
They were They were very good cars indeed.
So here's that Nissan then, in 5th place at the moment. Kent Abrahamson, we were worried for him earlier that we thought he'd lost something, but he seems to have got his mojo back again, didn't he?
Well,
and he's got his lights working as well.
Yeah, and it is so wet on that part of the circuit.
Yeah,
still got an enormous amount of spray there.
Times aren't improving. Bob Berridge up to speed, but his lap is just crossed the line 4:35, so he's only 3 seconds quick on that lap. But conditions are definitely getting worse.
They're definitely. Well, they're varying from one part of the circuit to the other, which makes life so difficult. Here comes the Mercedes hanging on in there.
Doesn't even need his wiper on at the moment, as you can see. Oh, he's got it on delayed, yes.
Yeah. That looks fabulous, doesn't it?
It does look beautiful, doesn't it? I mean, you can't forget when you see these cars, those wonderful days of Michael Schumacher, Jochen Mass, Carl Wendlinger, all the works drivers of that era, most of whom had achieved, and those that didn't, basically, sadly, Wendlinger perhaps had a career that did not go as far as that might have done, but Michael's still there doing it now.
Yeah, there was an iconic poster, Chris, wasn't there, in Group C days? It had these 3 young guys, Michael Schumacher, Carl Wendlinger, and Heinz-Harald Frentzen. And the poster in German said, "Would you let these young guys drive your Mercedes?"
Yeah.
And they did.
They did.
Yeah. Yes, they did.
All 3 of them.
And Michael still is.
Well, well, Heinz-Harald Frentzen too. Heinz is still running. He's running in the ADAC GT Masters very, very successfully, racing for Corvette. So Carl Wendlinger, of course, a winning driver in the World Touring Car Champion, the World FI GT Championship. So all 3 of them still on top of their game.
And we mustn't forget Jochen Mass, who without doubt, an extremely talented driver, a very, very talented man when it came to bringing on the young drivers for Mercedes.
Exactly.
But the other thing about it, he has a sense of humour which is just absolutely unbelievable.
Un-German.
Totally un-German, isn't it?
No, you're absolutely right.
Charming man.
You're right, absolutely right about Jochen being the tutor. Mercedes charged him with bringing on these young drivers because he had a talent for bringing the best out of people. Yeah. He worked very closely with Peter Sauber on that, which is why Michael Schumacher went on to become world champion so many times.
It's a matter of purveying useless information. But Jochen actually started off as a merchant seaman. He went to sea. Absolutely. And he's still into boats now in a big way.
So this car then, of course, the 31 car, that's one of the 1989 Mercedes C11s. And which year did Mercedes win at Le Mans? 1989.
1989.
So was this one of the winning group of cars?
This is chassis number 5. Yeah. The CLR9 is chassis number 5. And I don't think it actually was one of the winning cars. I've got a feeling it was a Ibiza. I think it was the one that was basically the practice car. But I may be wrong.
The other Mercedes was actually the championship winning car.
Yes.
The championship winning car.
Yes, that was the championship.
The later one, yes.
Didn't win here, but it was the champion.
Yeah.
And, that Lancia.
There's the Jaguar.
Yeah.
Going past us
going past us. Shame we haven't seen it on screen, as Neville said.
Just very briefly we saw it, and it's rather big because it's a car to look at and sort of say, yeah, well, this is the one that started it all over from the Jaguar.
So Bob at the moment has 9.5 seconds over the Lancia. The Lancia, of course, half a decade older, a 1984 car. This is a 1989 car. 5 years of development just shows what difference that makes.
And coming up through the past the Porsche curves with the Ford chicanes coming up for the last time.
Yeah. And this will be the checkered flag for it.
Daniel Prusner's out there already with the flag waiting for it. Gets blocked quite badly there by the 20 car. Just didn't look in his mirror as Klaus Berglund, did he? But
no, but nevertheless, he's going to have to do another lap if he doesn't actually wave it by, which will probably not mean very much to him. Oh no, he's going to catch him on the line. That's it.
Bob Berridge takes the win then at 3:34, so he's improved only 1 second. Oh, it wasn't Daniel Prusner on the flag that time.
Obviously he put his deputy in.
Daniel did give the checkered at the end of the Group C warm-up.
Well, there is, and I think that's a fair indication that Bob Berridge doesn't particularly want to do a slowing down lap. I don't think he's that sort of...
Roger Wills actually actually closed within 4.3 seconds of him. It took 5 seconds off him on that last lap. Yes. Did a 4:32. Yeah. Here's our third place car then, Gareth Evans, man who's raced, of course, with Chamberlain over the years, knows the 24 hours well.
I think he's done 5 24 hours, so very experienced.
Started from pole, but for some reason Chris gave it all away at the beginning, didn't he? He just dropped back very quickly.
Maybe the rain got in, because he set pole very easily, and it's the conditions, I think, and also a very difficult car to drive in the wet.
Like the winning car, another 1989 one, just a slight different nose. That's the big difference. Only coming through Porsche curves now, that fifth place car. That shows what the gap's been. And remember, this is we've only had a 3-lap race in effect. So in 3 laps, the race leaders have put a minute over the 5th place car.
Yes, but there's the Leighton House Kramer Porsche.
Yeah, that's in 4th.
Kent Abrahamson in 5th, and the lovely Cheetah in 6th. Now those 3 are going very well.
Yeah, Richard Eyre on board the. Where's Richard Eyre? Just looking down through the field for him. There is the 22 car. Yeah, that is the Porsche. Yeah.
Yes, because he was originally down to drive a Jaguar, Richard Eyre, and then he brought Porsche instead.
Yeah, we did just briefly touch on it. Where are all the silk cut Jaguars we've seen here?
There's been a bit of a problem, I think, that with the Jaguars. Somebody said to me that they were getting a little bit short of blocks, and I think it's a question of getting the spares and putting them together again, because they were out to 7 litres, you know, which was rather, shall we say, about as far as you can take out the big V12.
Just looking at some moments from this is Paul Stubber, the Australian, the Skander going straight on at the 2nd chicane. And interesting, we just saw, didn't we, the Cheetah having a near spin after having a bit of a moment with the Nissan.
Yes. So there are the cars being taken back to their paddock.
I think as much as all these guys love Le Mans, they don't really want to have to do another lap, do they?
No.
And,
Not at slow speed. They've done
you
enough.
Can see that they haven't got an enormous amount of lock on them, because there are 2 of them there in that sort of delightful limbo of not being able to turn it round and then get it into the paddock.
Can't get it round. So Bob Burridge wins.
He has, of course, won his class here a few years ago with the TVR, if I remember rightly.
Yes. Oh yes.
Because they ran the works team here with the TVR some years ago. And there's the replay of the incident that made this into primarily a demonstration.
Mike Donovan absolutely gutted that he's done so much damage to his car. And look at the violence of it when you see it shorter up. And we understand that the other car involved, no damage. I mean, few bumps and bruises, but Alan Schlesinger in that Tiger limping away from it, fortunately. So big crowd already building up here for the feature race. So we're going to be leaving in a minute. We won't be staying for the podium, unfortunately. Everything's been delayed and delayed, hasn't it, this morning? But we will be back this afternoon. Now, don't forget, we've got the 24-minute programme coming up later on. That will be at 2:15 local time, 1:15 British time, and you'll have a chance to see our own lovely Liz Halliday. She'll be presenting that together with Robbie, and then from 1:45 British time, 2:45 local time onwards, we'll have non-stop coverage for 24.5 hours of the 80th running of the Le Mans 24 Hours.
And the good news is that looking to the west, the skies seem to be lightening, although to the southwest there's still pretty grey. But keep your fingers crossed.
4 hours. 4 hours to go. And we've got one more race as well. We're not showing the Aston Martin race.
Which is rather a pity.
It's a shame. But anyway, Neville Hay